Hello, good evening, good welcome, good afternoon, good middle of the night if you're watching this on YouTube at whichever time you wish to do so. This is Front Row Racing World Championship round 9 for the British Grand Prix. I'm Front Row Racing GP, also known as Stevie Sherbets, and with me this evening in commentary we've got James Huntenberger, also known as James Hulkenberger, whichever way around that was meant to be. And do you know what? I was so determined this week to get it right. I had two shots.
It is Murray and Hunt, isn't it?
It is. It definitely is. Right. Also with us in the pit lane is Front Row Racing RI, also known as Rachel Brooks. How are you this evening, Ray?
I'm very well. How are you guys up there?
Do you know what?
All in roof, haven't we?
We have. I am absolutely soaked.
Two bugs beside me.
You're not getting them wet, are you?
Wait and see.
Is it? Have you got a blackbird and a blue? He's got a blackbird and a blue tit. Yeah, he's got two birds, a blackbird and a blue tit.
Some Monster Energy girls, isn't it, Ray?
Yeah.
Right, before we carry on with any...
Not monsters though.
Not monsters. Before we carry on with all the happy, enjoying and joyful stuff, I do have a quick announcement to make. It is a warning to all of the Front Row Racing drivers, including the FRR Ridays rookie drivers that are joining the league. It has been noticed this week that there's been some not very nice language used on social media. This is just basically a little warning saying please conduct yourself correctly while on social media, because you will be associated with Front Row Racing, and how you deal with your conduct on social media could end up resulting in action being taken in your position in your league seat. You may end up losing your seat in the league, in other words. I hope I've put that all across.
Professional it started and now
yeah, and then I just go off on one. Yeah. So yes.
Michael McIntyre pumped up.
So just to cut a long story short, cut out the nasty language on Facebook. Cheers. Right. Anyway, Front Row Racing World Championship at Great Britain, and it looks like the lobby is getting full. I am going to quickly run through the drivers and then we may be able to get to a qualifying session. Just while I'm doing this, James, if you just want to, because I've not looked yet, double check that you've got all the settings correct so we don't end up having an error, because sometimes when we have a reset like we have done,
we might end up in Bahrain.
Yeah. Okay, so running through the drivers, we have Tempfear and Dan Evs, and they are the Flaming Dragons Mercedes Petronas Formula 1 team. Both very good drivers there. Tempfear winning the race last week, is looking to try and get two race wins back to back. Could he do it? It could be the first driver of the season to do it. And then moving on into the rising lads, Red Bull of Bartman and Stocky with a qualifying ban, unfortunately, for a first corner incident last week, which will be interesting for him to start at the back, but we will cover that again later on in qualifying. Moving on to the Sensen Racing Williams of Killer Corkin and Jason. Both those drivers are with us, which is good stuff. Jason did say there's a possibility he may be running late, but he is in there with us. And then we've got up the line Ferrari of Overdijking and Jammy James 16. They'll be looking to have a good strong start to the race. Moving on to Freedom McLaren Honda of GT5 King and Konzo, and they again are looking for a strong race this weekend. No vehicles, no drivers in the Sahara Force India or the Toro Rosso. The commentary team is in the Lotus cars, which will be retiring at the start of the race. Then we have Landmark Racing of Johu Finn and Mornay 77. Mornay has let us know that he will be running late. He's hoping to get in time before the race starts, so we'll have to see if his name pops up during the qualifying. And then moving on to the Mana Marusha, the Mode Red Mana Marusha of Kev 187, who is the reigning champion of the World Championship. and also his teammate in front of racing DP, who is the second driver on the grid, who will be starting at the back of the grid. So those drivers of Stocky and front racing DP will not be able to qualify. They'll have to put their setup on but not qualify. So we may end up having drivers behind us at the start of the race, so we have to be careful of that. James, any thoughts on the two guys that have those qualifying bans?
Well, it's we've seen DP had plenty of incidents on the first lap of plenty of races this season, and he's managed to come through recently. I mean, I think it was the last race he had a bit of an incident down at turn 1, and pretty sure he ended up on the podium.
I believe he did, and he's got the added advantage that yes, okay, he's going to be starting at the back, but the advantage is he's going to be starting with fresh tyre wear.
Yeah, well, you want that around this circuit because it is a tyre chewer, isn't it?
It definitely is. If you could just click ready for us as well, that might just tick us over to the required amount for us to get the session underway.
Just one thing before we get oh, it's counting down already.
Okay.
Would we want rain here, as we've got?
We have to leave the space available for Mornay, because he has mentioned that he is aiming to get in before the race start. So
in that case, apologies, right?
Yeah. Otherwise, I did ask him if he'd be making it before the race started, and he did say he was going to be trying to. But obviously, if any driver does let us know that they can't make it, then yeah, there it does make that space for Ray. Ray, out of all of your media interviews in the paddock down there, any interesting stories to tell us?
I tried to speak to Jeffy, but he just kept me eating his apples.
Get your umbrellas out, folks. It's soaking.
I'll tell you what, there'll only be one man happy that's in this weather, and that's Steve McLaren. Football reference if no one knows. Anyway. No, right, well, so qualifying for the British Grand Prix, two drivers, like I've said, that will not be qualifying, that could, to be honest with you, have been aiming for pole position. So which drivers do we reckon that could end up sticking it on that pole position? I know I've got my money on.
Yeah, we do know that the pad users do tend to favour the wet conditions, so I can see Temp Fear having another crack in qualifying.
Do you know what? That's exactly the guy that I'd be putting my money on as well. I have seen him in one of the practice sessions and he was almightily quick, but overdiking was quick as well, so you can't rule him out. But around this circuit it is so easy to pick up invalidated laps, so anything could happen in Formula 1. And do you know what? It usually does.
Stocky, he's not fancying this wet weather at all.
He's got his qualifying ban.
He's got that qualifying ban, yeah.
I mean, there's got two options. What he could have done is sat in the garage and watched a similar screen to what we're watching, or he can retire, which he has done. As long as he's put his setup on, then he'll be able to use it for the race. But he could have sat there and waited.
In a way, I wouldn't, even if I didn't have a quali ban, I wouldn't be fussed starting at the back, because I don't know, the wet conditions, especially on wheel users, it is pretty tricky, and especially just putting the power on. Normally, even in dry conditions, the rear end can snap on you at any moment.
I mean, just talking about those
conditions, it's just amplified.
Yeah, talking about those drivers starting at the back, if we end up having a dry race start, this negates any advantage they would have had from starting on fresh tyres. So starting at the back for them, whatever tyres they're on, it's going to be difficult from where they are.
But we know as well, with this being a tyre chewing circuit, it's going to be even more aggressive on tyre wears. It's going to be quite green as the drivers are unable to scrub any rubber into the tarmac during this quali session.
It's very true. I mean, I've just seen Bartman run extremely wide at the old first corner. I know it's only his out lap, but I think that lack of grip may have just surprised him.
Yeah.
While we're just building up through this qualifying session, I'm going to run through the race results from last week, because as we know, there was a few penalties handed out. I'll go through the penalties as we go along, but Tempfear held on to the victory, and he also got driver of the day. That was his first race win in Front Row Racing, so well done to him. In second place was Front Row Racing DP. Third place was Bartman. Fourth, Kev 187. Fifth, Overdyking. Sixth, Killer Corkin. Just looking at Overdyking, he did receive 15 seconds worth of penalties. If I remember rightly, it was 20-second pit lane penalty, but then he was able to have a 5-second penalty removed for an illegal overtake, which was rescinded. Looking on, Stocky was in 8th place with 40 seconds worth of penalties. That'll be his first corner incident and 1 penalty for a pit lane. I shall check my notes later. Unless, Ray, have you got any notes from the race director? Are you aware of what Stocky's penalties may have been for?
It was a turn 1 incident.
Yeah.
And it might, I don't know if it was pit lane.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, with it being the 40 seconds, it sounds like it was a pit lane entry penalty. Just behind Stocky last week in 9th place was GT5 King, Dan Evs in 10th, Mornay in 11th, Konzo finished in 12th place, Yarson was a DNF in 13th, and Joey Finn didn't race last week. And team of the day last week was Mode Red Mana Marusha. So the standings in the table. We've got Kev 187. Go on.
Yeah, talking of Kev 187, did you happen to see that he got a name check on the Sky Sports F1?
I did, and do you know what? I actually thought that he may have actually superimposed that on top of the screen somehow. It didn't really.
I was just watching it the other day and I thought, hang on, that's our Kev.
Yeah, he sent a quick link, a quick message out and a little video clip, and I'm thinking, did he actually just superimpose that on there himself? But yeah, it's very well, nice little random comment there from Kev on Sky Sports F1. So Drivers' Championship after round 8 was Kev is at the top with 125. Overdykink is 20 points behind him with 105. Tempfear with 103. Stocky with 95, and the rest behind following rather closely. And in the constructors, Mana Marusha 208. Up the line, Scuderia Ferrari is on 199, so the constructors is very tight with Rising Lads Red Bull on 152. So let's move on to the circuit. We're on board with Overdyking, who looks like he's on an outlap. Ray, any comments from Overdyking this week?
Yeah, he says he's going to complain to Team Radio of the McLarens battling with him.
Ooh. Yes, last week.
Just to confirm,
yep.
Stocky was a pit lane.
Yep, penalty. Great stuff. Thank you.
So, sorry, let's clear this up. What is he complaining about?
That he'll be battling with the McLarens. So he wants a faster car.
Well, that's the name of the game. That'll be the best, and he's proved it already this season.
Yep. Just on the McLaren guys there, what did the McLaren guys have to say in their interviews with you?
GT5 King not to listen to Dom.
I wonder if that was regarding setups.
And Connor, he's been having problems with his car all day, so he's hoping his power cable stays connected.
That's not nice to know. That's the sort of thing that you wouldn't want to have to deal with halfway through a race. So just looking, I mean, these sector times, I've got no idea in these conditions what a sector time is good or bad, but Overdyking's done a 29.9, oh, he's just cut one there though. It looks like he's backed out of his lap. Very difficult.
The current our predictions seem to be going correctly, as Tempfear's hit a 29.7 first sector, so Overdykink's 29.9 is not far off.
No, not at all. I mean, I'm on board with Tempfear at the moment, and his time has frozen through sector 2. No, it's going again. I was just wondering then whether he ended up having a invalidated lap just as I was jumping on board with him, because his time froze, but it is running again. So doesn't look invalidated at this point.
Second, and I can't tell you what lap time it was, and bear with me 1 second. So it was a 37.6. Temp Fear's got he's just gone even quicker. He's just got 4 tenths in the bag.
There we go, Temp Fear with a 1:37. Yep, great lap time there from Temp Fear. Let's have a quick look see which other drivers we've got on the circuit. Overdyking, like you say, has just set a 1:37.6. Killer Corkin with a 1:37.6 as well, getting very tight up at the top. Kev 187, 1:37.8. Bartman with a 1:38.1. There's plenty of drivers out on the circuit.
Second guide, I'm going to get my other headset so I can listen to team radios.
Great stuff, nice one.
That's cool.
Our little spy. It's great stuff when he listens in. So, Jamie James is coming up to the end of Sector 1, and it's a 30.7. I think that's an improvement on his previous lap. But it's not quite up there with the top guys, though. They'll be aiming to be getting into those 29s really in Sector 1.
Yeah.
So if you were Stocky or DP at this point and you can't qualify, what would you be doing?
I'd be relaxing. I'd be breaking open a packet of biscuits, getting the brew going, relaxing, making sure I've had my toilet break, and just thinking about your first lap, getting that nailed, making up as many positions as possible, as we do know that cars through Maggots and Beckett's can go extremely slowly through there, and if you can pick a few off heading down the Hanger Straight, you'll be looking good into lap 2 and your fortunes can turn around. Yeah,
I mean, thinking of these conditions though, do you add on extra wing or do you go with your dry setup? I mean, they're on inters at the moment, but the weather forecast said it could be wet for some time.
Well, I'll take the weather forecast with a pinch of salt around this circuit, because anything can happen. I'm sure when I went to the Silverstone Grand Prix in 2011, it was raining every single practice, every single quali. Come to the race and it was blistering sunshine, and that wasn't predicted.
I can remember watching that one, and there was a lot of people that got sunburnt because they weren't expecting it to be that hot on the day. So we've got Connor, who's, I thought he was going to jump into the pits, but he's going to finish his lap. He's done a 30.0 Sector 1 and a 41.2 Sector 2. He's got 1 corner left to go. Currently in 7th place. Is he going to jump some positions? He's gone 5th. Nice time there with a 37.9.
Nice.
So looking back at the leaderboard, the guys that you would expect to be improving on that list, I'm just seeing if there's anybody that's not gone out that could go out. GT5 King has had his laps invalidated. He's right down at the bottom. He's set a lap time, but unfortunately it has invalidated it. So everyone else then must have set a current.
Do we happen to know if Conzo's still plugging away with his wheel?
He is. He says no turning back.
Yeah, he's doing extremely well. I mean, he's currently been bumped down to 5th place. GT5 King, his teammates, just popped into 5th place and knocked his teammate down to 6th. But Conzo's on another flying lap. Actually, he's down probably a second and a half in the first sector, so I think this may be an in lap.
Well, I'm on board with Kev 187, who's on his out lap. He's just come round Stowe, coming up to the last chicane, with a couple of corners to go before he starts his lap. He's currently sitting in 4th.
Jamie James has just popped himself into 5th and just bumped both McLarens down. So here we go, we're Kev into turn 1, lifting off a fair chunk there. Rear end looks absolutely beautiful through that section. Oh, this is probably my favourite part of the circuit. I'd probably like to open up this corner a little bit more than what Kev did, but he's got a nice bit of traction heading on to the Wellington. Is it? Yep, Wellington Straight.
Yep, Wellington Straight heading towards Brooklands. That's where the old BRDC stand used to be.
Yeah, Luffield. I love going, especially when battling wheel to wheel. I love going a little bit wide, and then cutting back in and getting early on the power, which might actually, in wet conditions, be even though in the normal dry conditions it's not the preferred line you'd like to go on, maybe in the wet conditions, maybe a bit more traction out there.
Yeah, it's quite possible that with the damp or even very wet conditions, the most grippiest line around the corner can be where it's at the highest part of the camber, which can be quite often around the outside of the corner rather than the normal racing line. But looking at his sector times, a 29.5 sector 1. That looking tasty. Yeah.
I think temps was a 29.2 as I believe, and we're going to see where he pops himself in now. Just heading into the final section. This is probably my least favourite part of the circuit, but now getting on the power, making sure you don't hit that sausage curve and not running too wide. Here we go. He's gone P1.
P1 with a 36.7. I'll tell you what, it's extremely tight on there. We've unfortunately lost Jason. Hopefully he'll be able to make his way back in again. Car's just come out of the pits ahead of Kev 187, but it looks like it's moved out of the way. Just looking at how close it is there. Kev's got half a second to temp fear. Ray,
he's got half a second. He's got a full second to overdiking.
He has. Ray, can you stick your hand out and see if it's getting any wetter than it was earlier on?
I don't think so. Is part thermi, is it off?
Yeah, it should be, yeah.
On?
It should be on.
Oh, well,
if any drivers okay, well,
I'm pretty sure it's part firmware is on.
Okay, well, if there's any drivers or any engineers or anyone that has noticed that it may be off, all drivers do have to record their footage and supply it to the league. And if any other drivers notice that somebody may have been changing things when normally you wouldn't be able to, then I'm pretty sure it will be reported to the league, because all the drivers do know the rules. Part firmware is meant to be on, and instead of restarting, we may as well carry on, and you're not allowed to change your setups. Simple as that. So Overdykink's out on an outlap, warming his tyres up. Let's have a look, see who else is out there that could be. Is Temp Fear out there? He is. He's on an outlap, just heading into Maggots,
will
Beckett's.
Probably be thinking right now, I've got a second to find. He'll probably know the couple of corners where he made a few mistakes, but as usual in wet conditions, you focus more on the corners you struggle with, and you don't pay as much attention to the corners that you're strong at.
Exactly what happened to me in a practice session just about an hour or so ago. I was practicing with DP. I took turn 1 absolutely beautiful, but I think I took it by surprise because I took it absolutely flat out. I messed up turn 2.
Exactly.
Yeah, turn 2 is a simple corner. Killer Corkin has done a 34.5 sector 1. He's backed out of his lap already.
So here we go, we've got Overdijking going over the line. He's just set himself up, but only a few seconds down the road I think we've got another car, so hopefully they're not too slow that they're going to slow him down. I think it's a Mercedes-Benz.
I think it's Temp Fear.
Apex quite nicely.
Well, it's either Temp Fear or Dan Evs, but I know that Temp Fear was out on an outlap at the same time as Overdyking.
Oh. Opening up onto the Wellington Straight, that was quite nice through the loop. Now heading down towards Brooklands. Is he going to take my advice? Is he going to go a touch wide, or is he going to keep it tight?
The time's not there for him. The time's not there. It's a 29.8, and Kev got a 29.5 with his pole lap, and Temp Fear had a 29.2 when he didn't set pole. So a
lot of wheel spin coming out of Luffield there. Now heading through Cops. Getting on that power, because it probably took a bit more pace through there, run on the curb, but then again in these wet conditions you don't want to be flying off. Getting it all slowed down for the heading on to Chapel, which is brilliant. Heading on to the Hangar Straight now. Just
past where Kimi Räikkönen nearly had a moment.
Yeah. He's not looking too shabby, even though the first sector's probably about half a second down.
Sector 2 is not too bad, but maybe we've got a minute left of this session. It might be the second lap that's a quicker one for him. Ray?
Has there been multiple disconnections? Because Jason said error again, so I don't know if there's been more than just him or not.
It is just Jason, so if he could rejoin us, he will be able to jump on the rear of the
Yes.
grid. Unfortunately, that's 2 weeks on the trot for Jason. That is so unfortunate.
Was it Jason who was having problems with the actual physical connection, or was that somebody else?
Do you know why we were talking? Overdiking went pole. It was all
Exactly.
all in sector 3.
And just to rub it in, he's just gone another 3/10 quicker in sector 1. Is he going to be able to go even quicker now? I did say that his sector 2 and 3 was looking very nice.
Now, if
even though he was down in sector 1.
Now, if he's down in sector 1, but his sector 2 and 3 are good, that would come across as maybe having quite high on the downforce, which in these conditions you would probably need, to be honest with you. But could that hinder him when it comes to the race if it ends up being dry? Because I tell you what, the rain has already started looking like it's lifted off. We have been kicked, unfortunately, from the pit lane right back up into our commentary box. I think I was just on board then with 10th Fear for a moment.
Yeah, I've got 10th Fear, and Overdiking's following him into... He's just heading through Stowe now, heading into the final couple of corners into Club, which I absolutely hate. Has this been another flyer for Overdiking, or is 10th Fear going to have something to respond?
Oh, 10th Fear. Temp's gone second. Jamie James was 5th. He's not finished his lap yet. Ray, you were going to make a comment.
Yeah, I think Dom was up in his time there.
Ooh. So Dom may have gone quicker on his time. GT5 King currently in 6th place. Jamie James in 5th place. Joey Finn 11th has gone for the pit lane. Dan Evans in 9th is out on the circuit. So there's only a few guys out there that could improve their positions. And my money would be on Bartman out of the lot of them. And at the moment he crosses the line, goes from 8th to 8th, I think. Wow, there we go. I was expecting a bit more from Bartman.
GT5 King, did I see that? He just popped it up into 4th place, or was that my eyes deceiving me?
He may well have done. Jamie James is in 6th in the pits. Yep, Jamie James.
That'll be disrupting Ferrari a touch.
Well, it looks like it's going to be a strong start for Ferrari, and Mode Red Marussia are going to have one in the middle of the grid and one... I say middle of grid actually. I can't see the qualifying screen at the moment. It's going to be about second or third, and DP obviously at the back. The Red Bulls.
The predictions were correct. The pad users right up at the front.
There we go. So place 1 and 2, they were pad users. Kev managed to squeeze in there in third, with GT5 King 4th, Killer Corkin 5th, Jamie James 6th, Konzo 7th, Dan Evans 8th, Bartman 9th, Valtteri Bottas 10th, Joey Finn 11th, Stocky 12th with his qualifying ban, Front Row Racing GP, that's me, then Hulkenberg. DP is in 15th position, so we are going to have to watch out for a car that starts behind us. Wow, I'll tell you what, it was reasonably tight up there at the top.
Yeah, there's a big gap between 3rd and 4th. The rest of the field seems to be at least a second off. Yep. Hopefully that's just with the wet weather conditions. If it's dry, maybe we'll see a closer field.
So the time has come for Front Row Racing World Championship at Great Britain for the British Grand Prix here at Silverstone. This is going to be a wonderful... Whoa, look at that sunshine. And I tell you what, there are going to be people on the grid now that's gone, why did I put that much downforce on? And they're going to be praying for rain throughout this race.
They better get praying, because that sun's looking absolutely blistering. I'm glad I brought my deck chair.
I tell you what, it's exactly like you said it was in 2011.
Yep. But in 2011 it added that extra bit of unpredictability, because half the circuit were wet, half the circuit were dry, and this is looking like a full-on bone dry circuit.
It does. It looks absolutely bone dry, but I wouldn't be surprised if those clouds turn very dark later on. It's going to be very interesting if we can get some comments from some engineers on the weather as we progress through this race.
I think as well the drivers will be deliberating whether to go for primes, because these options, they're going to be quick for maybe 4 or 5 laps, and then they are going to plummet, because with a green circuit they're just going to be chewed up.
but also every driver's got fresh rubber. Every time they come out the pits, it will be fresh rubber, and the people at the back are going to be hindered from that. And DP is behind me, so I will be the one that moves out of his way.
And away they go. Absolutely. Oh, there's a, I think it's 5 wide going down into turn 1.
And it looks like they've made it. Oh, I was just about to say made it all clean, but there's been contact.
It's between a Ferrari and a
it's Jammy James.
And a Mercedes-Benz. Oh, we've got Duofin driving into the side of DP there. DP will be looking to get away with that, and Duofin, I think he's lost his front wing.
Oh, that's not good stuff.
Jammy James and Batman.
Tempfia has made it into P1. Kev's up the inside of Overdyking, side by side now, running through. Oh, this is absolutely fantastic, running through Luffield. Kev, is he taking it all the way around the outside? He is, and Killer Corkin.
He wants a bit of this.
From Killer Corkin. Absolutely amazing from the Williams driver.
What a move around that corner. That's the way you like to do it.
May try getting back into Maggots and Beckett's, but no, Killer Corkin, he's got it.
I'll tell you what, he's looking forward to this. I'll tell you why that is. Just looking at the colour of the tyres there.
Killer Corkin's just gone wide. Overdyking's going to have a move here. I think GT5 King's in on this as well. Yeah, Killer Corkin, all that hard work's just gone down the toilet as Dan Ebbs is trying it all the way around the outside, but no, Killer Corkin's going deep.
Just to confirm, the white wall tyres are the soft tyres. Overdyking is running the harder. That's why he's got these cars climbing all over the back of him, and he needs to keep them right behind him.
Yeah, I did say the drivers will be deliberating how long to stay out, and Tempfia is pulling away, but Kev, he is catching him, and these drive conditions are favouring the wheel users now.
And this is exactly where Kev 187 is going to be wanting to keep hold of the rear of Tempfia.
Oh, we've got 2 drivers side by side. I think it's a Red Bull. Let's see who that is. Oh no, DP's off the circuit again. Conzo's just overtaken DP, but no, he's just lifted off. He's let DP through. He must know that he's made an absolute cock up there.
Well, DP started.
And Jammy James. Let's get on board with this, because this is some quality action. Stocky going up, doing the switchback. Is he going to get a decent run now? Side by side running through this section. Is Jammy James going to give him any room whatsoever?
This is going to get tight into Cox.
Yeah, this is going to get really tight. Stocky up the inside. Jammy James running it all the way around the outside now, running into Maggots and Beckett's. I think Jammy James is just ahead. Yes, he is. Oh, that was as close as you want to get heading through the old turn 1.
I'll tell you what,
he's bunching up a ton.
Yes, DP's not that far behind. Stocky and DP with the drivers that started at the back, and they're currently in 8th and 10th.
Yeah, we've got Killer Cork, and we've got Dan Ebbs, and we've got is that GT5 King? Yeah, it is. He's running all the way around the outside. No, Killer Corkin's just been hit by Dan Ebbs up the rear. They're 3 wide going into the final section. Dan Ebbs has just been nudged by GT5 King into Killer Corkin. Now running through the final corner. Dan Ebbs has got to run up the inside. He's having to back out of it. GT5 King's gone wide. This
Stocky's
is
going for a move.
Intense for me to commentate.
I think we need to reduce the amount of cars on the grid because we can't keep up with this. And
this is brilliant though. Oh, Jammy James up the inside of Dan Ebbs into a gap that wasn't there. Is that a bit of front downforce I see missing from? No, Jammy James got all parts of his front wing, so he'll be happy about that. I think he's going to have a run down now onto the Wellington straight. He's going to have a look into here.
I'll tell you what, we're on to lap 3, and Overdyking on his prime tyres is just able to pull out that gap a bit, and it just looks like it's favouring those primes after lap 3 already.
Yeah, I think Overdyking, his biggest favourite here is Killer Corkin. He's got in front of him, and Killer Corkin's now like the cork in the bottle. He's holding the rest of the field up. Dan Ebbs is on a set of primes. Killer Corkin's gone wide. Dan Ebbs up the inside, and Jammy James, is he coming through? Here comes Stocky as well. Is he getting past?
It's 3 wide into Maggots. Oh, they managed to sort it out.
Stocky just pulled out at the last moment. Killer Corkin, even though he'd had a bit of a scruffy exit, he was having none of it, but I think Stocky's coming back at him now. He's
got the inside line going up towards Stowe. He should be able to make this move stick.
Available. It's lap 3. And he's, Stocky almost just touching Killer Corkin. Maybe should have given it an extra meters room there, Stocky. That was the first time we've seen Stocky being a bit... Oh! GT5 King in the background going for a dive bomb on Killer Corkin.
I don't know whether that was a dive bomb or he just missed his brake pedal.
Yeah. I've got the worst camera angles ever.
It looks as if he just locked up.
Oh, too much brake maybe, just got them wheels locked up.
Front row racing DP on GT5 King heading into this
what's
tight
it called? This tight section. Turn 3 and 4.
Yeah, it's heading on to entry. It was the loop. Apologies for that. Schoolboy error there.
It's very easy to forget the names of those corners because they are relatively new to this circuit.
I think DP is going to be getting GT5 King out of position as Killer's
gone wide
again. This is what DP wants. He knows that if that's going to slow down GT5 King, it's going to help him. GT5 King's gone wide. He may be trying to get a touch more traction out of that corner, heading towards the old first corner.
Yeah, this is turn 9. DP is going to be wanting to make up places, but he's going to want to be keeping it clean and saving a bit of fuel, making it count when he's got a bit of spare track ahead of him.
He's got so much more straight line speed than GT5 King. He's going to have to make it count on the easiest part, which is the old hanger straight. Is he going to get a decent run now? Because GT5 King is going to get DRS off Killer Corkin. But yeah, he's in the slipstream. Here we go. He's up the inside. GT5 King squeezing him, just making it a touch tighter than he wants it to be. But no, he's through. GT5 King hasn't got an answer, I don't think, unless he goes for another. No, DP's defending. GT5 King's going to try it all the way around the outside. He's just got a car's nose up the inside, but no, DP, he is through into 8th place. Oh, and up in front, we've got Dan Evans and Stocky. They're going out at hammer and tongs down at turn 1. This is lap 5. I feel like we're on lap 55.
I can't believe how many overtakes we're having already, but this could be the reason of having cars that have had a dry setup and some cars having a wet setup, some starting on the primes, some starting on the options. It's creating a lot of overtakes. On the primes
is Dan Evans and Stocky's all over him. He's going for
a contact.
Yeah, but Stocky, he's got a steering wheel too. He could have that could have ended in tears there for Stocky. Luckily for him, Dan Evans didn't want to squeeze him anymore.
I mean, Dan Evans also is running on the primes. Yeah, just notice that Dan Evans is on the primes as well. So from the cars that I've noticed at the moment, we've got Overdyking and Dan Evans on the primes. We will have a full run through when we get the chance to see who's on what tyres.
So, yeah, we've got Ferrari running 3rd and 4th, and Jamie James is closing down on Overdyking, but Overdyking is on those prime tyres, but they are going to go a hell of a lot longer than those options. But out in front, if I'm Overdyking looking on board, I can't even see the guys in 2nd and 3rd. Yeah,
no, that gap is massive.
Still fighting it out.
I'll tell you what though, looking at Temp's tyres, they look like they've had enough already, you know. He's been pushing that hard. Those tyres
really
have
struggling around the final corner there for Temp.
Yeah, I mean these tyres, they will go 10 laps, 12 laps they'll go pop, 10 laps they will last till, but to be honest with you, they're only good for 7 or 8. You don't really want to run more than 8 laps. So
DP's all over the back of Killer Corkin heading into turn 1. Is he going to get the move done into the loop? Killer Corkin seems to have had a bit better traction through there.
I mean, it's very tempting to do it through the loop because the travel really.
We're going to have to go on board with both Ferraris because I think Jamie James is eyeing up a move on his teammate. Yeah, he is. He's going straight past him. Is this team orders or is this fighting for position? I think it's team orders there.
Well, it's a strange one with it being lap 6. I would really expect the prime tyres to be running a better lap time at this stage, because the primes should be 2 seconds a lap faster by lap 6, and you know, Jamie James has got the speed and Overdyking hasn't.
DP side by side. No, he's through. He's already made the move past Killer Corkin. Apologies for that, we've missed it. I think he must have teed up Killer Corkin through the loop and headed on to the final, the old hanger straight, getting my words right, the old start and finish straight, headed down onto the hanger straight now.
His next target is Dan Evans, who's running those prime tyres, and I'm surprised with these option runners at the moment, apart from what we quickly saw of Temp Fear. The other option drivers are just starting to make them work again. I just wonder if they've gone through that phase of where they blister a little and then they come back to you.
Yeah, and maybe they're coming back to Stocky because he's now all over the back of Overdyking, heading through the final corner, heading on to lap 7. I think Stocky may be wanting to make a move pretty soon on Overdyking. as you can see Jamie James heading off into the distance in P3.
Now, quite often when I make a statement, I'm quite often wrong, but correct me if I am. Overdyking, didn't he qualify on pole? Or was it 10th
Yes,
here?
he did.
It was
Yes,
Overdyking that qualified on pole. And that must be down to the Air Force, the grip that he had in the wet, and it's starting to suffer now.
And Overdyking struggling as well just to get the car in the correct position. He's gone a touch wide. Those primes seem to be slipping, and his rears on Overdyking don't seem in the best condition. Stock is all over him.
Dave and Dan having a wee battle and a wee bit of contact.
Let's have a jump back. Stocky's getting very close to Overdyking, but it looks like DP is about to make a move. Oh, he's just like I think he may have just backed off around Cops to make sure he gets through Maggots and Beckett's. And then he's tightening up that gap again now as they come out of, I forget the name of that corner, so we won't even try it. And then
Stocky's going for a move on Overdyking, heading down the hanger straight. No, just not close enough, but I think he's going to have a little cheeky look into this final section. He's got so much
gone for the pits.
No, he's going for the pits.
I mean, it's lap 7, that is the predicted pit stop time, but that's normally, and there's plenty of cars in the background entering the pits. GT5 King absolutely completely sideways.
Of Dan Evs, side by side running through the final corner. I don't think Dan Evs giving enough room there, but I'm thinking DP's going to be getting his elbows out soon because he's losing chunks of time. He's up the inside, he's going deep.
Yeah, I think Dan Evs may have let him through.
I think Dan Evs straight back at him.
I think Dan Evs gave him plenty of space there for a moment.
I think Dan Evs might have a run here. I think DP's out of position. If Dan Evs can get back in that slipstream, he's going to be straight back past. Yeah, he is. Opening the DRS, he's going to have a little look into here. Yeah, he is. Up the inside. No. DP's smart enough to hang it all the way on the tighter line, but Dan Evs is keeping
it. No, I mean, as they approached the loop, it looked like Dan Evs just eased off and let DP through, but I think it was more of a clever move of give you a bit of space, but you're not on the bottom part of the tarmac you want to be on, and he was able to try and make a switch back through the loop, but not been able to hang on to it.
Lap 8, we're seeing the primes really coming to the run now on Dan Evs as he's. Even though DP's just got in front of him, he's carrying so much more speed through Maggots and Beckett's.
DP's boxing it this lap.
So yeah, DP will, I can understand.
I think Dan Evs is going to go for a little look down the hanger straight. Is he going for it? He's going. No,
he's
backed over at the last second.
And at this point, DP will be thinking, yeah. DP showed him that he didn't want.
Jamie James in there.
DP definitely wanted the pit lane. So Kev 187, Kev 187 has pitted. He is in 8th place.
And Temp Fear's just coming out of the pit lane. Where's he going to be strolling back out? He's on the set of primes. He's Kev on primes.
Kev is on the option, so Kev's gone option at this point. Temp Fear is just about to pop out of the pit lane.
Yeah. And no, is that Stocky or is that Bartman? That's Bartman just behind him. They can see Kev 180 just behind Bartman. So Tempe has managed to hold on to position, but these primes are going to be absolutely a nightmare to heat up. Kev may be able to chew this time back in because he's not far behind now.
Guess what, guys?
Have you got a weather report for us?
Yeah, heavy rain in 15 minutes.
Get in.
Hoping has options.
I've just seen a spinner.
Kev's just hit the back of Bartman.
I do apologise for cutting you off, Ray.
Slammed into the back of Bartman there.
I just caught it in the background, saw Kev's car sideways. I think he was caught by surprise at the point in that Bartman hit the brakes. But let's just return back to Ray, who was just commenting on the weather, that she's going to make it very interesting in this race. So Ray, just to confirm, you were saying?
Heavy rain in 15 minutes, and front row racing DP's hoping his option tyres will last that long.
Oh, I don't think so. I don't think at all. I think if you wanted to run to the wet conditions, you want to be getting on a set of primes.
Quite possibly.
Kev may be quick in this. Oh, yeah. Kev may be quick in this situation.
Bartman's gone for the pits.
But yeah, I think Kev may be a couple of laps short on his tyre deg, and I think Temp Fear may be able to stretch out this stint and maybe run it all the way until his first set of intermediate tyres.
Right, as we are on lap 10, I am going to quickly run through the order. I do know that the majority of the cars have made their pit stops.
Overdijking just coming out, and he's in P5, and he's just coming out in front of DP. Here we go. How close is this?
DP on the prime, so he's looking to make.
This is super close. I think Overdijking want to get them tyres switched on ASAP and get straight back in front of DP.
Now, we did hear from Ray that DP was hoping these tyres would go to the wet weather. He is on the primes, so DP may get those tyres. Overdijking's on the options. Those tyres may not last till the wet weather.
But Overdijking's only just put his options on, so he's probably got the best tyre wear of all the option runners at the moment. And yet, Overdijking's got a decent run now, heading onto the old start-finish straight. I think he's going to be super quick through Maggots and Beckett's.
Now, for the first 2 or 3 laps of the option tyres, they are super fast, and he needs to get this move done as soon as possible. Otherwise, the tyres are going to about to level out. Yeah.
Yeah, if he gets held up behind DP, that's it.
I mean, that is not something we say very often, being held up by DP.
DP's got so much straight line speed. Overdijking's got the DRS wide open, and he's only gaining probably a couple of horsepower on DP, but look at the grip he's got in the corners.
And that's where Overdijking is going to try and make it count.
Yeah, DP's gone defensive, and that may be the worst way to go in that particular section, because he's just giving away heaps of time now, heading through the final corner. Is Overdijking going to be smart and just set himself up through the loop, or is he going to go for a cheeky, sneaky dive bomb?
I think if you're Overdijking in this position, you've got to go for an overtake in a corner that you wouldn't normally overtake in, because he's got massive aero grip, massive traction advantage on front row racing DP.
DP's had a bit of a squirm there. Overdijking's already passed him. DP's going to have a little bit of a lift there as he did a slight ETL and he's straight past. That's
and
exactly what Overdijking needed.
Yeah, I think that ETL lift from DP just aided Overdijking, but I think Overdijking may have just run on the inside of the circuit there, and he may also need to do an ETL lift over. But I'll tell you what, you watch out for front row racing's front line speed when they get round to the DRS line, as long as DP can keep with him through Maggots and Beckett's, because that's where Overdijking is going to be mighty with his downforce.
Yeah.
So let's have a quick look through Overdijking, through Maggots and Beckett's, curb to curb. Could have been a bit tighter on that previous exit, but not too bad at all.
Stocky's made his way past Jamie James, because I think Stocky's on options and Jamie James is running his set of primes. But the one thing that these drivers could have known, if they know if it's going to be raining, they don't have to use both sets of tyres.
That is true.
Just praying that rain comes.
But it can be very strategic in knowing at what point that rain does come.
We're going to have to cut back to the front of the grid, because talk about close. Kev 180's pulled this in massively. But the one thing that Kev needs to do, Kev needs to get past temp fear ASAP, get out of that dirty air and start protecting his tyres, because if he stays behind temp fear any longer, his tyres are going to get chewed up before the rain comes, and that's not what he needs.
But the reason why Kev's been able to haul that gap in is because he is on those option tyres. Temp fear is on the prime tyres. But like we said, Kev was one of the drivers that pitted possibly a lap or two earlier than some, maybe even 3 laps earlier than Overdijking. So yeah, Kev's got to make it count now. I mean, to be honest with you, if I was in Kev's position, I'd be thinking, okay, if I stick on another set of options now, I can blast through as fast as I can till the rain comes, and it may gain more of an advantage.
Kev's rear end's looking a touch unstable now. I've just watched him bomb through Copse Corner and just heading out of Chapel, and that rear end on that Manamrusha looked a bit of a dog there.
And just thinking about, running on worn options is not very nice, but can you imagine running on warm options when it's damp? You don't want to be doing that.
Just had a moment. Temp's just had a right moment. He had a bit of a swapper on through the final corner. That's giving Kev a right run now. Heading through turn 1, he just needs to keep as tight as possible.
I think what's going through Kev's mind is, as long as I'm stuck with temp fear, then I'm alright.
Temp going to be able to, I hope I'm not putting the commentator's curse, halfway through the race, is Temp going to be able to take the first back-to-back win of the season? Kev's going to try and deny him of that.
Well, I'll tell you what, if there's ever a driver that could deny him of it, it would be Kev.
Kev's just completely outbraked himself, and Temp's just showing him some manners now.
Oh, it was...
Killer Corkin's getting close to DP.
Ooh, let's have a look. As Kev is, hang on a minute, we're not going to go there just yet. Kev was having a sneaky look up the inside into Cops, but let's have another look at Killer now then. Yeah. Let's see where it is.
Have a look at Killer, I'll tell you if the gap gets
so Killer Corkin is right up the rear of DP. He will be making a move. He can't sit behind him this close. He's going to have to make a move into Cops, or is he going to stick it behind him? He's following him nose to tail. I tell you what, I thought it was on a tow rope. It was that close then, and following him.
We need to get on board with the leaders, because this is getting really, really close now, heading into the final couple of corners.
I can't find the names.
Right up behind Temp Fear.
There we go. Got him. I mean, the distance between these two, there's not much there at all. I'll tell you what, look, I just saw a glimpse of the...
extra traction there,
we go.
He's just lit them rears up, and he's got a right run. Is he going to have a little look into turn one? No. He's going to be thinking about the DRS now. But he just lit them rears up. Oh, and he just popped his front left tyre, sorry, just on the touch on the grass, so that'll take a moment just to clear up. He needs to make sure he stays as tight and as close as he can at Temp Fear, but Temp Fear, he's not hanging about. He's not wanting Kev to get past.
He's not, but Kev has just dropped off a little bit there, so let's quickly go back to Killer Corkin. Has he made the move? Not yet. He is still following DP through the loop, so as they come up towards the DRS detection line, DP's rear end is all skitterish all over the place.
Oh, sorry, Kev's nearly lost the car there following Temp Fear, and just touched his rear left on the gravel.
I mean, at this point in time, the temperature has dropped massively. The tyres will be responding differently to the tarmac, and those clouds are getting darker and darker minute by minute. We said how nice and sunny it was and we needed a suntan lotion. It doesn't look like a summer's day now.
I've packed up my deck chair and I'm heading back to the commentary box.
I've got my umbrella and my pack of Mac ready.
Ah, I forgot mine.
I've also got my lunchbox with my jam sandwiches in it.
Ah.
It's alright, my mum made them for me.
Kev's in from P2, he's heading for the pit lane. He ain't going to make it to this wet weather. I think Temp has played a blinder. He's going to be able to run them primes until it starts raining. Looking
at it, I don't think that wet weather is that far away, and this could be a good time to pit for Kev. This could work for him. I possibly would have done it a lap or two earlier,
Stocky
but could be a good time
James
for him.
Are going to go through to claim the second and third now.
Kev has put on another set of option tyres. Good call, I reckon, at the moment, but we won't know until that rain comes.
Overdyking's in front of Kev. DP's going to be out in front of Kev. Killer Corkin's going to be out in front of Kev. GT5 King's going to be out in front of Kev.
Now, anybody that tries to stretch their tyres on till that wet weather now, Kev is going to be so much quicker than them. Okay, he's going to have the pit stop time to gain back, which is about, I think it's about 26 seconds here. But if I'm wrong, Ray, if you do, I've seen rain.
Yeah, that's the worst thing for Kev. Exactly what I said. It'd have been better just to stroll around a little touch longer. But that has just put the nail in the coffin for our Kev there.
But I tell you what, that's just our typical British weather. Absolutely, totally unpredictable. But one thing I can predict is we're going to have an interesting race.
Yeah, I can predict there's going to be some swear words going on inside that crash helmet.
Ray, if you could get some radio commentary from Kev and what his views are on the situation after he's just pitted, that would be great.
I can't broadcast it live.
Wouldn't too many bleeps for the bleep machine, I think. But yeah, it's that. I mean, like I said, it probably would have been better a couple of laps ago, and I wouldn't expect any cars in the pits just yet. They'll probably wait for it to get a bit wetter, but we are expecting heavy rain.
Get on board with Jamie James and Stocky, because Jamie James, I think these options are going out of the window, and the primes in this wet weather.
Dan Evs, what's happened there?
In the window, Dan Evs, I think he may have lost connection. His car's still rolling round, but it's in a in a ghost mode, but Jammy James in these wet conditions with the dry tyres on, he is absolutely chewing all over the back of Stocky. Stocky needs to make sure that he gets that in the pit lane, because I think this is the crossover point now.
It looks like... Thing is, if we're expecting heavy rain...
almost lost it then.
If you're expecting heavy rain, do you go for the inters or do you wait for those full wets and put the full wets on? Because it can quickly go from slick conditions straight onto full wets, and Jammy James is struggling with that rear end.
Whoa, that was a lovely power slide. It's not going to do his... not going to make the engineers smile down at Ferrari, but
it looks like he was
smile.
He was wishing the old pit lane was open, because I'm pretty sure he'd have shot in there for a set of Inters tyres at this point. This start, I tell you what, I see puddles occurring on the circuit, and when you see them, you cannot go much longer on the slick tyres. It does not matter whether it's the options or the primes. And James is sideways.
I think Kev's just made a move. Yeah, he's on the back of Killer Corkin, and they've got GT5 King following very closely. Oh, Kev, even though his tyres are better than Killer Corkin's, it's not. There's not enough of an advantage in these weather conditions.
Keep an eye on Manor Marushkas, because I think they're going double stacking.
Oh, double stack the pits.
Have I just seen the worst mistake ever? I've seen Stocky and Overdyking staying out.
Oh, but I tell you what, the Mana Marussia, the Mode Red Marussia, they are double stacking, and literally about 3 seconds between them.
If I were Overdyking, even though I was behind Jammy James, I would double stack. You're going to waste way more time than if you double stack.
Ray, if you could find out what Kev's overall pit stop time is, because I tell you what, that's going to be massive. But it's not going to be.
Like mad.
Yeah, it's not going to be as much as their lap time.
Out of the window. No grip whatsoever. And Temp Fear's going to come up. I think Temp Fear's going to breeze straight past him. He's closing on these two out on the dry tyres. Look how much he's closing in on these two.
Yeah, he's on the intermediates, and he's just going to stream straight past them.
Breeze straight past them. They've got no grip whatsoever. I think I think they're all going to. I think Stocky and Overdyking have absolutely shot themselves in the foot, and they have. There we go. Temp Fear.
Oh, they've spun it.
Fear. I think he wasn't anticipating Overdyking and that Stocky. I think he wasn't anticipating them to just keep trying to turn right.
But I tell you what, I don't think those two cars in these conditions were going to make that corner at that speed, even if there was no one alongside them. There was just not going to happen.
But even for Temp Fear on these
I tell you what, Jammy James
tyres,
just flies by.
On these intermediate tyres for Temp Fear, making that turn, and as tight as he made it, that was the most he could get out of his car. There was nothing he could do there.
It is getting to that stage where I'm thinking full wets is needed, and even though these guys may have only done one lap on the inters, I would be putting full wets on.
Getting full wets on, yeah.
I mean, what is Temp Fear doing? Temp Fear, he's gone for another lap, and I think if you put full wets on, you're going to gain. Jammy James has gone for another lap.
So we go, Stocky is in. Going to be intermediates. I'll check Stocky if you check Overdyking.
I'll be on Overdyking. At this stage, I don't think...
full wets for Stocky. What's Overdyking going for?
Full wets. It has to be at this stage. Yeah. Now this is where it can only just...
Maybe this has been an absolute blinder for these two. Maybe it's almost gone completely wrong there with that bit of contact there with Temp Fear, but maybe this is going to put these two on for an absolute blinder to the end of the race.
But you also would say, what a stupid thing to do, driving on dry tyres on a wet track. But now they've been able to do one pit stop less, there's a possibility it could pay off. But I can't see it with any accidents happening.
Somebody else who's been super smart, Killer Corkin. He's
on the full wets.
Oh no, and GT5 King.
GT5 King's looking
so fast on them wet tyres. GT5 King.
I tell you what, he took the wider line round that corner there, and you could see that had the extra grip.
And Bartman looks like a sitting duck here against these two, Killer Corkin and GT5 King. I think they're going to be straight past.
And the McLaren and Ferrari have changed over engineers. Sam's an engineer for
10th year
Ferrari,
race leader.
And
Go on, Ray, sorry.
and I think it's Elise has went to McLaren, so Dom's missus has dumped him for a Scottish
Killer Corkin making a move on Barman up into Stowe, but what a classic comment that is, that Dom's missus is not his engineer, she's gone elsewhere. But we've got Car in the pits.
She's given up. She's thrown in the towel. And 10th Fear, where is this going to place 10th Fear? It's just coming out of the pit lane now. Where
Bartman
is
has entered the pits.
Where's Overdykink?
Overdykink is in the penultimate corner. So 10th Fear is going to be coming out of the pits. I would predict ahead of Overdykink. It just made up so much more time on the Inters.
Is that DP? DP's going out on a set of Inters.
No, they're wets. They are blue.
Oh, we've got side-by-side action with Killer Corkin. This is for P2 and GT5 King. Oh, this is absolutely brilliant. We're finally getting to see GT5 King and Killer Corkin in current podium positions here.
And this is where they actually opted for the full wets when the others opted for the intermediates. It looks like it's actually at this point paying off for them.
Ones to get on them wets, yeah.
Well,
oh, GT5 King almost lost it then on that curb. Killer Corkin's got a bit of breathing space now.
When the game tells you it's going to be heavy rain, that means you are going to need the full wets.
And those drivers that and there we go, we saw, didn't we? Right at the very beginning, Killer Corkin had a cracking start, but then due to his aero, he just got bumped down the field. Is this the moment where he may have gone for full wet downforce along with GT5 King? And the first half of the race, they've been sitting ducks on the straight, but now they're coming into their own.
At lap 10 I was trying to go through the race order and I didn't manage to do it. I got to about the second car before we had further incidents. So we are now on lap 20 with 10th Fear leading the race, and I will try my best to go through the order of this race. So in second place is Killer Corkin, third place GT5 King, fourth place Jammy James, fifth is Stocky, sixth is Overdykink, seventh is Front Row Racing DP, eighth Konzo, who's still running very well there on his wheel, but he's ahead of Kev187 who's in 9th place. 10th is Bartman. Joey Finn is 11th. In 12th we've got Dan Evs. His car looks like it's on autopilot.
Yeah, autopilot, yeah, completely. I think he's if I were him, I'd be just popping straight in the pit lane and getting out of these overalls.
I think he's having a rest.
In 15 minutes.
I think that 15 minutes.
That's too late.
Just working that out, it's going to be about on the last lap, that 15 minutes mark. Yeah, I think because the lap times that these guys are doing on the full wets, obviously it takes longer to do per lap, so they're going to be doing probably, I don't know, I've not seen the lap times, but I'm assuming with these wet conditions you're looking at 15 to 20 seconds longer than a dry time. So a possible normally dry time would be a 1:30, so you're looking at 1:45s to 1:50s. So 15 minutes, how many laps? If somebody could work that out and let us know in the comments, that would be great, because I don't know, because I'm not a mathematician.
I think GT5 King, he needs to be getting this move done pretty soon on Killer Corkin, because Jammy James is closing in.
And I don't think he can do it. I think Killer Corkin's got the pace on him this week. I mean, Killer Corkin's looking absolutely mighty. We've not really seen much of him in the World Championship, but currently he is running in second place, and he looks like he loves these wet conditions.
Yeah.
He's not a fish out of water, he's a fish in water at the minute.
Jammy James once again proving how good he is.
I mean, how long before we start calling him the #1 driver at Ferrari? I mean, I've joked about it before on a podium with him, but do you know what? Why not?
Exactly. I mean, if Temp Fear has a problem, either a disconnection or spins off, Jammy James is in line for his... Is this going to be his third win of the season if he wins today?
And I tell you what, that's going to make a massive difference to the table. I mean, also, you've got Killer Corkin running in second place. Could it be a different race winner again, or could we have Temp Fear taking the first back-to-back victories of the season?
And Temp Fear, he's heard about that raid.
Whoa, sorry, I'm going to have to put in, we've got Jamie James has made a move on the GT5 King, and that is for podium position.
And there you go, Jamie James, he's going to be hunting down Killer Corkin now. GT5 King couldn't make a move. Jamie James, I'm pretty sure he's going to give it absolutely everything and make his move. I think look how much more speed he's got than Killer Corkin through these corners.
I'm just having a couple of issues with certain cars I'm trying to jump on, but it has put me on to Kev 187 and Bartman. Kev has made the move stick into Cops. It looks like Bartman's wanting to come back at him into Maggots and Beckett's. It's side by side into Maggots, but I think, yeah, he's made the smarter move there, decided not to stick side by side. He's going to wait for the hanger straight, no DRS in these wet conditions.
I'll tell you as well who's making his way up through the field. Stocky running in P5 right up behind GT5 King. So Jamie James, he's looking super strong, but even stronger looking Stocky once again.
And I've had another car fly by not far behind. That's over Dyking. He's not too far away from Stocky because obviously they pitted at the same lap.
Stocky's up the inside of GT5 King. GT5 King taking a tighter line, but I think he's out of position now. Stocky's done the up and under. Is he going to get better traction? Oh, this is close. Yeah, he's getting
should
better
get
traction.
that move
GT5
done.
King's on wide.
GT5 King.
Pickings there.
Yeah, he's, with him running that wide, he will have had to do an ETL lift as well.
James making the move. He's already made the move on Killer Corkin, so he's trying to get on with it because he knows Stocky's coming.
Well, that would make a mess.
It's
so
wet enough. Are we going to see
any more puddles?
We may do when they're throwing the champagne round later in the faces of the other drivers.
Jamie James, that's 2 laps. Jamie James has found his pace. It's come back to him.
Yeah.
I mean, two laps ago, you'd have put your money on Killer Corkin. 2 or 3 laps ago, the money would have been on Killer Corkin. Now Jamie James, but I tell you what is that gap Jamie James has got to Temp Fear? We haven't spoke about Temp Fear much, but he is still leading this race. It's a 14 second lead.
Stocky's up the inside. Killer Corkin's gone wide. He's through. Stocky's through into third. Is Killer Corkin going to come back at him though into this final section? No. He's got the nose in there, but no. Stocky's having absolutely none of it. He's having 3rd place. And I think if Stocky's got anything to say, I think he's going to be hunting down Jamie James for P2.
But the lead that Temp Fear's got is mighty at the moment. He's got a 14 seconds lead. So
just needs to keep it on the tarmac. Temp Fear could leave a second easily in each sector and still return the lead on the final lap. So Temp Fear can just play it safe from now on. Oh! Nearly losing the rear end there, Temp Fear, so he needs to...
Leanne's taking Jeff out.
No, where's he gone? Killer Corkin is down to 7th place. That won't have gone down too well at all. That I do know that they are friends. They do talk when they're not racing, as most people do, but to each other. I'll tell you what, where is GT5 King? He's in 4th place.
He's in P4,
so he's still running.
King's hunting him down.
Yeah, just to let you know, Danev's car is an AI car.
Okay.
Yeah.
Unfortunate there for Danevs. It'd be nice to find out what's happened.
All over the back of Konzo. Konzo's going to touch wide, and that's just let Batman straight through on Konzo. And now they're going to have DP to contend with pretty soon.
I'll tell you what, is DP pitted? He was in 7th place. It's Kev 187.
Kev, apologies.
Yeah, it's Kev 187 in 10th place. And that's all come about though because of that extra option stint that Kev was going to try and do on the lap, that unfortunately the rain fell. So yeah, that's why Kev's down in 10th place. Just to talk about front racing DP momentarily, he is in 6th place, so not going too well for Mode Red Marussia at the moment. And back up at the front we have Temp Fear in 1st place. 2nd is Jamie James, who has pulled in a 2-second gap. Sorry, 2 seconds, but the gap is still 14, so it's still a long way to go, but there's only 2 laps, so it's a long way to catch up, but only 2 laps to go.
Yeah. Silver King now all over the back of GT5 King.
And Stocky has got GT5, sorry, Stocky's got Jamie James in his sights. And Stocky's looking strong. Is this now down to who? Gone?
It's time for inters, as I've been hearing.
Ah.
No, I don't think it is. I think there's still plenty of water on circuit. I think if you're going to go to inters now, maybe that's just to try and put other drivers off and maybe make them think twice. As Overdyking's having a look at GT5 King. Is he going to make the move? GT5 King squeezing. This is fantastic racing heading into the old turn 1. GT5 King keeping position, absolutely fantastic driving there from GT5 King, defending just enough to make Overdyking think about how to place his car, and that was absolutely brilliant. But Overdyking, is he coming back at him? GT5 King's going to touch wide. Overdyking's going to have superior traction heading onto the old Tanger straight. He knows GT5 King's got his elbows out before. Is he going to go for a dive bomb? No, there is a bit. Cool.
There is a bit of a racing line, and when you're on it, I think you might be into condition, but when you're off it, it's wet.
As close as you want to be. Is Overdyking going to go for this? GT5 King's going a touch wide. This is exactly what Overdyking wants.
Now can these two keep it clean?
Start finish. Oh, this is close. Really close there.
We have only got
and they need to get the move done pretty soon because DP's closing in on them.
Going in towards the loop. The sun is starting to break through the clouds. It will be a very interesting last lap.
Yeah, it'll be a struggle for him, but it'd be absolute suicide to go for inters now. 1 lap to go after this.
I'll tell you what, I would not do it if I was in first place. I would not be doing it. I'd be trying to get to the end of lap 26 as soon as possible. Oh, also, quick mention, I've just got to give a quick shout out to Temp Fear, who does watch the live stream while he's racing, so hello and good evening to Temp Fear.
Well, he needs to have a look at this because Overdyking's going for a move on GT5 King into the old turn 1. GT5 King's just gonna touch defensive, and that's put him out of position.
He's gonna.
He's gonna. There we go.
But I'll tell you what, this is going to be a very interesting last lap. These tyres are going to burn up. He's there.
DP turned up.
He has.
Overdyking needs to get this move done and get past, because if he makes a mistake or GT5 King holds him up anymore, this is going to be it. He could find himself down in P6.
Now we're getting to that stage of the... Go on. I was going to say, we're getting to that stage of the race where it could come down to who's got penalties. Now, I can keep commentating on what's happening between these front runners. If you, James, would like to have a little nosy, see if anyone does have penalties.
GT5 King squeezing Overdyking, but DP's got the run on the both, heading down into turn 1. GT5 King's just squeezing Overdyking there.
But they've both gone wide.
Both gone wide. They're going to have to do an ETL, and that's what DP wants. Oh, he's on the inside! Oh!
This is unbelievable.
Absolutely squirming.
DP's got the grip.
GT5 King trying to come back, but DP's got it. I think DP's going to have a move here. Overdyking's struggling like mad. He's through! Oh, this is fantastic side-by-side action now.
He's not giving up though, is Overdyking.
Oh, this is fantastic. Not shutting the door though. Overdyking giving the car's width the last lap. This is Sebastian Vettel, Fernando Alonso-esque.
DP's got the outer line, which is where there's more grip.
He's got it. He's done. Oh, absolutely fantastic.
I'll tell you what, Temp Fear cannot be far. Temp Fear cannot be far away from the finish line. So he's on the hanger straight. So we're going to jump back to front racing DP and Overdyking.
Oh, side by side, heading into Maggots and Beckett's. DP's going to touch wide. He's going to have to do an ETL, which he may have done now.
He has to wait until the end of the section, just onto the hanger straight to do that lift.
And that's going to give Overdyking the run. Here we go. DP's gone defensive early. Is he going to squeeze Overdyking wide? DP's going so wide. That's just given DP a run. Here we go, side by side, and in this final section, DP Temp Fear has won this race, but we can't go away from this. This is too close. DP's ending it on him. Overdyking just having enough room to keep a car in there. Rear end squirming. Who's going to have this? Overdyking just snatching 4th place. What a fantastic bit of racing between those three. And we've got Bartman and Kev heading in the final corner, and Killer Corkin behind. Kev, is he going to be able to hold on to this into the final corner?
No! Don't do the wall!
Oh! Both and Killer Corkin. Does he take both?
Now I'm wondering whether those cars crossed the line or whether they didn't survive.
No, I think Killer Corkin got that. That was too close. Kev up the inside, and unfortunately, in these conditions, you're just going to understeer. No, absolutely fantastic end to the race there. That's what you call a full-on climax.
No, I'm hoping to God that it's not going to wait for Dan Evans' AI car to travel around for 3 more laps. But while we're waiting for some confirmation, so much happened.
So much to talk about there.
But if you look,
was one of the best races of the season.
It's dry, and this is what we're saying. That last lap was going to be interesting, you know, with the conditions, because it did dry up.
We have to say apologies to Tempfear that we could not cut away from a battle that good on the final lap. But yeah, Tempfear, absolute brilliant racing there. Called it right, sticking on a set of primes for the second run.
What I'm going to do
for the set of options, and they did not last until the rain came.
I have put the race director up on my screen as we're waiting for the cars to finish. We do have Tempfear in first place, Stocky in second, Jammy James in third. It put GT5 King into fourth, Overdyking in fifth, Front Racing DP 6th, Kev 187 7th, but I can't confirm whether they were the positions with or without penalties.
Yeah, Tempfear's up there, we've got Stocky up there, and I think we've got Jammy James up there.
And I apologise for the viewers who have got a big black box across the screen, because I was looking at the race director as we view the podium. But well done to Tempfear, well deserved, back-to-back victories. It would have been exactly what he wished for. All he could have wished for is a white Christmas as well, even though it's not Christmas.
Well, he got a white splash in the face there. That's all he wants.
That was from Stocky. But there we go. There we are with the penalties added on. Now I'm just wondering if. Go on.
There was tons of contact on that final lap, and we've got to say, with them conditions, they did so well to be able to contend with the conditions and racing wheel to wheel. There were only a couple of moments, and on that last lap the gloves were off, weren't it?
They were. Now Front Row Racing DP does have 2 penalties on the board there, and I did see him on that last corner take a massive chunk of it. Now I don't know whether he was forced over there or whether he decided to go over there, but that could well have been one of them penalties.
Yeah, I think it may have been rear instability, and it forced him over the sausage curve, because it didn't look like he wanted to be out there.
Well, I tell you what, Front Racing DP does like his sausages, and he took that one straight down the middle. Alright, so Ray, if you could invite the top 3 into the podium conversation, chat room, interview box, whatever we wish to call it here at Front Row Racing, then that would be great. We do need Tempfear, Stocky and Jammy James.
I think that says it all. Kev's left the lobby. He knows that was a race that absolutely fell out of his fingertips.
Yeah, definitely. At that pit stop with the option tyres, it just fell away. He could have had it. So, I mean, if you think of the point in time, if you'd have waited one more lap, it could have made a decision then at that point for those the other tyres.
Yeah, it was so close, and if he just waited an extra lap, that could have been inspired.
Right,
but
so
unfortunately, he went for them options, and it kicked him in the teeth.
They definitely did. That didn't just kick him in the teeth, that hit the back of the throat. Right, I did just see some flashes on the screen. We need Tempfear, Stocky and Jammy James 16. Do we have all 3 of them in the chat party?
We were just waiting for Jammy.
Waiting for Jammy James.
I'll have DP put you on the podium in a second.
He probably was going to come and say his piece then for a minute and thought better of it.
There was plenty going on there.
I'll tell you what.
Here. Should we get this started?
We will in a moment, because I just want to say something to start off with. Is apart from congratulations, I want to apologise because we could not watch you cross the line for your second victory. Not only just your second victory, your back-to-back victories.
Back to back.
We could not watch you go across the line because of the epic battles that were happening down the field behind you. But
there was a 3-way battle and then a 2-way battle going on behind it, and but we've got to say massive props to two absolutely fantastic wins.
Yeah. Now, before we go through the questions with the podium winners here, I mean, I just want to say, make sure you have got your microphones switched on to always allowed to share on the broadcast, and also turned up. That would be great. And if there's anyone viewing on YouTube currently as we are doing this live, if you wish to make a comment in the comment section for any questions you wish to put to the podium drivers or to the commentary team, I don't mind answering a question depending on what it is. Yeah, so any questions for the podium drivers, that would be great. And if there's any drivers watching that wish to send Front Row Racing RI a message letting them know how your race went, or if there's anything you wish to say that we can include, that'd be great. So podium question times it is. James, if you want to take over to Temp Fear, who took the on track first place. Very well done. James, are you still with me? Have we lost?
Yeah, apologies, sorry. No,
yes,
I'm here.
yes, your name's James.
I was speaking. I'm sorry, I thought you were having a word with Jammy Jones there. Apologies.
No, I thought you had a mouthful of donut.
Aye.
Yeah, so, Temp Fear, well done with winning your second race, and also my brain has gone and I can't think of what I was going to say next because James.
I'll finish your sentence for you.
Yeah, please do.
Fear. That was an absolutely fantastic race. We did say pad users are going to benefit in these qualifying conditions, and unfortunately I think you were beaten just a touch by Overdijking, but I did say these pad users are going to come through the field, especially if it starts raining, but you didn't even need it to rain. You were super strong in them dry conditions. Talk us through the opening laps.
Well, first of all, some Dom started and Price, and I was a bit surprised. I kind of had a feeling he would, but then as he got pole, I thought surely not. But it kind of held Kev up a treat for me as I managed to get through in the inside. And then after Kev got past, he held the rest of the pack up. So from that point, I knew it was just Kev had to keep an eye on that time, and it was just constantly managing the gap. I would pull away from Kev in the first set, so he'd close in the middle, and I'd pull away in the last again. It was a constant.
A quick question. I've got a quick question or something I want to ask is, at the point when that rain came and Kev 187 had just pitted, what were you thinking?
Well, I tried listening to the weather at the start, and my engineer said we can't give you that information first. And I saw the clouds covered. I started ridiculous. I saw the clouds coming before. There was a chance of rain. And then,
well,
I heard that someone then said rain was coming like 15 minutes before this, so I never even knew. Just put primers on, and then I knew afterwards. But then I thought Kev's going to struggle to make it, but I thought he was at least trying to stretch it out.
And then you were bombing round. You just put the intermediate tyres on. You came round. I think it was maybe the following lap, and there was two cars in front of you. I believe it was Overdijking and it was Stocky.
Yeah.
Both running on dry tyres. What were you thinking? What were going through your brain? Because I was saying, what are they doing out on them slick tyres?
I thought them up so quickly and round the field, and they just wasn't moving.
Yeah.
And then as they moved through cops, they both went extremely wide, but nowhere near the apex, and then they started to do pirouettes to each other, so I just stayed on the inside and disappeared.
Yeah.
Like, them two are going to be annoyed at each other again.
Yeah, they did look super close. Unfortunately, when you're on them slick tyres, you're just asking for trouble in wet conditions.
Yeah, the grip difference I felt when I come out of it was like holding the car
it's
So
one of those.
it's-
One of those.
yeah, go
Just saying, it's the sort of conditions though that you needed to be on the right tyres at the right time, and it looked like that you pretty much did that absolutely perfect. But somebody that did it slightly different is the guy that finished in second place. So well done to Tem. We'll come back to you in a moment. But I want to talk to Stocky, because Stocky, is that what you intended to do with your pit stops? With it when it started to rain, take it as long as you could on the dry tyres. Options were inters were
That
never
was
an option.
That was the idea of my race engineer, RMS Maranello.
Ah,
well, I
He
think
said
there needs to
stick
be
out
a
on the
few.
options, then go straight to wets. And I listened to him and paid off.
Brilliant. I think there needs to be a few beers heading his way, because that was the ultimate strategy there. Unfortunately, you come from pretty much the back of the grid with a quality ban. You come through and you finished P2. I think that deserves a pat on the back there.
I'll tell you what, if it hadn't have been for that spin at Cops with overdiking, it quite possibly could have been a P1.
I think Ted was gone.
Yeah, I think he was taking it easy. He was taking it easy.
Today.
Yeah, I mean, he was very good. I was trying to big you up a little bit there, but anyway.
Talking, yeah. Were there any point in that race though, Stocky, where were you chin dropping, or were you constantly thinking, "Come on, let's get on the podium"?
All the way through, I set myself a target before the race. I said to myself, I'm getting on the podium or I'm going to win the race, and I'm here.
Yeah, well done.
Fantastic. Talking of punching way above your weight, let's move on to Jammy James. Here we go.
What does that mean?
These podiums are racking up. At one point, I thought you were. If Temp had had a problem, I thought you were odds on for win, taking third at season.
Yeah, it was a good race. Yeah, I enjoyed it. There was, I don't know what happened at the start. There was a Red Bull beside me, and then another Red Bull at the other side, and then I was at turn 3 before anybody else. So yeah,
Oh, you didn't go airborne, did you?
not quite airborne, no. But yeah, no, it was a good race. Fair play to Stocky. We went side by side through. Cops, yeah, and we didn't contact, so that was impressive.
No, that.
Yeah,
Nice.
it was good fire calls, and yeah, can't complain really. Apart from my penalty, which it seemed a bit bullshit, pardon the French, but I'll look at that later.
Aye. Well, these penalties can seem a bit harsh. And I'm pretty sure. The other day I was doing a bit of practice, and I was questioning the penalty it gave me. But especially in wet conditions, penalties can be given out willy-nilly because you're just understeering like mad.
An illegal overtake one is right at the start.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. With the illegal overtake penalties, feel free to send them to the race director if you feel that it was unjust. Yeah, I mean, I did notice that Dan Evans' car was driving around in an AI condition for quite some time, so I wouldn't be surprised if that was bringing out a few yellow flags here and there. But James, I want to ask you about an overtake that we saw you do, and it was on your teammate. He was on primes, you were on options, but it was on lap 6, and I thought at about lap 6 the primes would have been faster at that point than the options. Was it more down to the setup of your car, the aeros, that you had a lower aeros than your teammate, so that's why you were quicker at that point in the dry conditions?
No, it's just what comes from being number one driver, isn't it? But no, he actually run lower aeros than I did, but I was quite comfy in the drive. And because obviously we didn't qualify on the actual options, they went longer than normal. So
they're an extra 2 laps of grip.
Yeah, you could extra 2, and it counted, especially when especially because it worked out for well when the primes ran out and the rain came down. So yeah, it all seems to work out very well.
Yeah, I mean,
fantastic.
I've lost count of how many times we've had you on the podium this season, but you must be up there with probably the driver that's been on the podium the most times this season. I mean, great stuff. And all I'm going to say is keep beating your teammate, and you'll do very well this season.
Thank you very much.
he won't like that comment, but
No, he won't like that comment. No.
no, but like I say, just keep doing well. I mean, this is your second season, is it, on the wheel now?
Yes, it will be. Yeah, T100 last year, T150 this year.
And I tell you what, having that season under your belt on the wheel last season, and then going into this one, you can tell the difference. Completely different driver on the wheel this year, and I think we're probably going to see the same with Connor for next season as well. So, well done. Yeah, well done changing over to the wheel and sticking with it.
Thanks very much.
All right, going back.
Just one more.
Yeah.
Go on, then, man.
Go on, no, go on, quick. If you want to say something, big up
just
someone.
Just a shout out to Rian and Jeff for that unbelievable call for the wet tyres.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, we did.
I think me and Dom were both in shock when they were about 7 seconds down the road after we made it happen. So
That was Dom's missus at Telton.
was it really?
Yeah, Dom's missus is their engineer. Did you not know that?
Oh, she said. Oh, hang on, no. Hang on, Rian actually said in our chat that we don't want her. No offence. So maybe they changed their mind last minute. I don't know.
Maybe.
Street time argument.
To be fair, if I asked my missus to do a bit of engineering, I know that I'd get the middle finger.
Yeah.
So I've got to give her props for putting up with
Hey, she
a
did
lot
it in
of
Austria
angry
too,
drivers.
so fair play to her.
Yeah.
Right, back to 10th
So-
here.
Yeah.
Can you make it? 3 on the trot.
I'll try my best.
You know-
Is it? No, is it? It's not Germany, is it?
It's Hungary.
Donkey.
It's Hungary.
Nagadic.
It's Nagadic. That's what it's called. Nagadic. Yep.
Next to a Dave and claim I'm the only one other than the last. Well, I was one of 3 not to get penalties.
Yeah, I did notice you did not get any in-game penalties, so well done on that. From the racing, DP got 2.
Although he came 3 laps down, but
Yeah.
he at least did got penalties.
He wasn't driving round; it was the computer doing it. But well done. And I tell you what,
Man of ability.
next week it's got to be podium for not podium, or hopefully podium. It's got to be pole position for you, surely.
It's the one thing that's eluding me at the moment.
You've got to tick that box. You've got to get that pole position.
Keep bugging me.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll come. It'll come. Well done to the 3 of you on the podium. If you could politely walk away from our chat room, otherwise one of our admin team will escort you away.
See you later, guys. Well done, James.
Well done. Cheers.
Wait, they're drivers.
Oh no! Wait, drivers! Wait! Don't go! I have forgotten. Because my brain was thinking one thing, which is I need to talk to Ray, but Ray needs the questions to give to the drivers. So Ray, yes, have we got any questions for the drivers?
It's a good job.
Johnny James, how did you feel when Stocky wasn't that far behind you?
I was nervous, I must admit, because when he got past Rian and Dom, about 10 laps from the end, he was going quick, and it was in the back of my mind, especially when I was catching Rian and Jeff. So, it was I managed just to keep the gap, especially when about, I think, 2 laps from the end, the Inters were the best tyre to go on,
Yeah.
but it was too
I remember
risky.
some of the Inters and he made up 3 positions, I think.
Right, next question.
Let's move it on to the next question.
Stocky, why did you stay out when the rain came?
Because my engineer said that it was going straight to heavy rain, so I thought there's not really much point going to the Inters. There's only going to be 1 lap or so, and I was just trusted my engineer and hung out on the dries until it was time for the wets, and it paid off for me.
It did look like it was the wrong call to start off with, but in the end it looked like it paid off massively. Next question.
That was the most horrible lap of my entire life.
And that's us. There's only a couple of questions, but at least I wanted to get them in.
Okay, well hopefully next week, anybody viewing, if they want to send any questions in, then we can get them asked to the podium drivers. So podium drivers, thank you very much. You may now leave the podium. And
Thank you, good racing, boys. See you next week.
well done 3 of you. So I'm going to go to Ray, because normally I'd go to James first after the drivers had gone, but I'm going to go to Ray first. Ray, any questions from anybody else, or any drivers' comments at the end of that race?
DP got a illegal overtake penalty.
So I wonder if that's one that is going to be wanting to be removed, and that might change the final positions. Okay, I wonder how many other drivers got those as well. Okay, anything else of interest?
I'd just like to say to some of the viewers, if they're coming in and live chatting, just keep it nice, no name calling, or hopefully they'll find a way we can block them.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what, I made an announcement, I made a hash of making an announcement at the start of this video. I mean, I could repeat it all now, or you could have already listened to it if you've watching this later on. Or you could just rewind it in a minute, or I could just say that if you are a front row racing driver, please do not use abusive language on social media, because you could end up losing your race seat, and that has come as a directive from the admins, as there has been some not very nice words said recently on social media. Was that better than the first time round?
Well, it was, and as well, can I just say as well, utter respect between drivers will make a much better racing experience. Once you start using bad language and foul language and just trying to wind up other drivers on circuit, you're going to create a situation where they're not gonna want to leave the door open for you. They're going to want to cut you up, and it's going to create a situation where it's going to keep fueling itself. So if you want to have really clean racing, or if you have a problem with the driver on circuit, or you've got a problem with the driver in general, take it to the admins. Do not take it upon yourself to give them a load of abuse.
I'll tell you what, I just at this moment in time actually just want to make a personal comment, not about my health or any of my bodily parts, but more about something to do with the driver from last week. And it was in my race, and I just want to say that how nice it was. I mean, at the first corner, I was in an incident, and it's hammer time 44, messaged me straight away at the end of the race, apologised, and he owned up to what he did, and he just turned in, didn't realise I was there, and he owned up to it. And it was so nice of a driver to say sorry straight away, and that's what the drivers should be doing. And you know, if you feel it's your fault, apologise. If you don't feel it's your fault, don't give abuse, because the other guy might be about to apologise, or both of you might be to blame, or both of you might not be to blame. So wait until all the videos have been seen and let the admins deal with it.
Exactly.
That was a nice speech, but it was a viewer against the drivers.
Yeah. Any viewers that are not very nice on the YouTube chat, we can report you to YouTube, and you can be blocked. So there you go.
There you go. Well,
anyway,
it was a thoroughly entertaining race, though. You've got to say that was absolutely one of the highlights of the season so far.
It was, and I'll tell you what, that has been one of the best British Grand Prix to commentate on and to be a part of that I think I've been involved with the front row racing from start to finish. Entertainment, overtaking, dry, wet, dry, you know, just everything. But what I will say is, anybody watching, if you think I should change my name to Murray Walker, just write a comment saying yes, you should change your name to Murray Walker.
I think it's going to, from next race, it's just going to be Murray Walker and James Hunt.
Yeah, there's going to be Murray and James. It's going to have to be, yeah, Murray Hunt. Okay. Right, so thank you to everybody.
It's a good job my name don't end with a K.
It is, isn't it? Right, so thank you to everybody that's helped out with the Front Row Racing World Championship. I haven't even had any beer today. Front Row Racing World Championship. That was the British Grand Prix. Well done to Stocky, who came second. Tempfear, who was first, and in third place, Jammy James. I like to do things in a strange order. So welcome. No, we're finished now.
Oh, come on, Murray.
I've just had my meds. Can we just finish this now? Right, we're signing off. Thank you.
Fantastic.
Thank you, James. Thank you, Ray. And I call that game over. All right. thank you very much for being involved with Front Row Racing World Championship. Good evening, good night, good afternoon, good morning, whatever time of day it is with you, wherever you are. Cheers.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.